Hello, everyone. Hello to the 16 of you that are in here already. Damn, man, y'all love some drama. It's super late, y'all. I know it's very late. This isn't going to be a very long stream, obviously, because we're starting so late and it is Monday. And I don't know if you can tell in my voice, I'm a little congested. I got one of those beginning of the summer colds when the weather doesn't make up its mind. It goes between hot and kind of cold. But yeah, so I'll just wait a little longer for some more people to get in here. Y'all can hear me, right? Everyone can hear me?
Well, I can hear you.
I just want to make sure everybody else can.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
Hey, Denise, how you doing, sweetie?
I'm good. How about you?
Very, very good. That was a great stream that you had. I wish I could have joined in, man. You covered some really, really deep topics, man, you know?
Yeah, I'm doing a part two next Monday. So in case you want to join, let me know.
Oh man, listen, I hope I got my schedule freed up enough because you really raised a lot of really serious points, you know?
Yeah.
And it's something that I've never heard anybody talk about that before, with regard to the immigrant experience, you know?
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
But
It's
you
it's
guys
an
were making a lot of
overseen
sense.
it's an overseen topic often, because we like to just sweep it under the rug.
Yeah.
So definitely, yeah, I'm bringing awareness to it.
Okie dokie. So I guess we're all here now.
There's 23 people. Do you want to start or wait for some more people to get?
Well, you know what? They can always go back and listen to the replay.
Okay. So to everyone, if I don't know if anyone read the description box, but I'm basically lending my channel to Truth Teacher tonight. He is going to address some allegations that have been made about him recently, as well as some other things he's been going through with some other people. So I'm not going to be talking a lot tonight. I'm going to kind of be in the background, but I'm just going to allow Truth to say his piece. And it is a closed live. I don't know if Truth will want to open it up at some point, but for now, it is a closed live. Only.
Well, I don't mind. I don't mind opening it up to specific people, but
Well, yeah, apart from those specific people, like I don't
yeah,
think you're trying to open it up to like the public.
nah, because listen, the whole reason why I'm doing this is because it's impossible with the kind of mentalities that we have floating around in this toxic little corner of YouTube. It's impossible to really communicate effectively. And the thing that I find frustrating, right, that led up to a lot of this stuff that I'm going to be talking about is the fact that, I come to YouTube with a purpose. And I established my channel, even though I'm not very active on it. I still have a purpose. And that purpose was to, first of all, to establish cross-cultural communication, to dispel misunderstandings, and to foster mutual respect. Um, it evolved past that into providing information that was positive when looking at the history and the culture of people of the African diaspora, whether we be in the continent of Africa itself or if we're in the United States, the Western world, Europe, wherever we may be. Because there's a lot of misunderstanding and misinformation out there, and a lot of general ignorance. And so that's why I'm here on YouTube. So, with that purpose in mind, I'm far more active engaging in people's comment section because I'm sharing information. Um, and this is how, like you and me, Tina, like we got to know each other because it was actually under your DNA video
Yeah.
when certain people were coming at you the wrong way. A certain Chem123, you know, was coming at you in a way that was extremely disrespectful and slanderous. And even though he and I were friends at that time, I stood up and I defended you because he was calling you a lowlife, he was calling you ghetto and all of this stuff. And I was like, whoa, wait a minute. I'm like, you got the wrong one here. That ain't this girl. This is a decent, intelligent woman right here. She's not a lowlife. And you would come out with your videos and I would make comments underneath, and I would engage people in conversation, constructive conversation. Unfortunately, on live streams, that's not what we get. And the times that I've tried to communicate, I mean, I end up losing my temper because of the level of disrespect and the childishness that goes on. So I guess everybody is aware of my meltdown that I had on on Fighter Complex's video. And well, first of all, you know what? Before we go on with anything, I want to make it perfectly clear that Christina has absolutely nothing to do with what I'm going to say. She's only lending me her platform so that I can have an opportunity to have my voice heard without interruption, without distortion, without lies. So I would ask the irrational minds out there who might be tempted to leave Tina out of this bullshit, okay? Whatever issues you got with me, that's between you and me, but leave Tina out of it because she's not here to instigate trouble. That's not why she made her channel. That's not what her channel is about. So please keep her mouth out of your, keep her name out of your mouth if you don't have anything positive or respectful to say about her. I would appreciate that.
Thank you.
So I was on Fighters live. What was it now? 2 weeks ago, and I was addressing a certain topic, and I fell for the bait. He put Dom Ren in there to stir trouble up, and I had a lapse of sanity. Now, here's the thing. At the end of the day, the way I express myself, is that the ideal way to handle a confrontation with somebody? Absolutely not. Okay? Do I regret my behavior, the way I acted? Absolutely. That's not the kind of person that I want to be. However, I think that having that happen, I can use that for something positive, right? Because on a lot of live streams, you guys have always heard me, you've heard me say frequently that we as human beings have a dual nature. We have the positive side of us and we have the negative side of us. And it's up to us to choose which one of those sides we're going to give the most energy to. And whichever side we give the most energy to is what's going to become the dominant aspect of our nature, right? All human beings are capable of good and bad. And I am certainly no exception to the rule. So in subsequent videos, live streams, whatever, when I'm talking about being your best self, cultivating good character, I want you guys to recognize the fact that anything I'm saying to you also applies to myself, because you guys have seen me at my absolute worst. Okay? So everything that I say, it applies to me as well. A lot of people, I think, have got it twisted because when you hear my voice, I have like, I don't know, a soft voice, or, I don't have like a really deep, aggressive kind of voice. That's not my energy. And I think people kind of get it twisted. So when they see me show that side of myself, they're like, oh, like they're getting all bent out of shape about it. Why? I'm a human being. I'm allowed to be a human being. Okay. And if someone is going over the line, yeah, I'm allowed to be angry. And every now and then, I might tell you to go fuck yourself. I'm a human being. Now, is that the way that I want to behave myself? Is that my ideal self? No, it's not. So I work on myself every day to be my best self. So when you see me show up anywhere and I'm on my best behavior, just know that that is because I have taken the time to work on myself, because I know the other side of me is not so nice. And that's not the side of myself that I want to share with the world. So, yeah, I went crazy and you all saw it. But once again, I'm a human being. Now, the thing about this that disturbs me is the slander that's been happening as a result of that meltdown from people like Fighter Complex, who's been going around in these live streams saying that I exposed myself, that I exposed my genitals to Dominican Renaissance, which is an absolute lie. And the thing that I have to wonder, and which confirms a video that I put out about him regarding his character. His words and his actions are just confirming everything that I said in that video. This is an individual who lacks character. He has low moral standards. And that's not just me being petty or being, vicious and saying these things. Listen, actions speak louder than words. Now, I can be man enough to admit the fact that the way I interacted with Dom Ren on that live was absolutely unacceptable. It wasn't good behavior. It was not a good example. And I was wrong for doing that. Was I wrong for being upset? No, I wasn't. I was totally justified in my anger. But you see, the difference is there's a difference between having anger and it's the way you express that anger. There's constructive ways to express that energy, and then there's destructive ways to express that anger. And I expressed myself in a very destructive way. And for that, I apologize. Not necessarily to him, but I apologize to all of you for showing the worst side of myself. But I'm taking this opportunity to find a silver lining in that and letting my example of what I did be a cautionary tale to you. Don't follow my example. That was me at my absolute worst. Do not behave the way I behaved in that moment. Strive to do better. As I'm striving to do better and praying and meditating to have the wisdom to know how to handle myself better in the face of negativity. Now, the reason that I flew off the handle like that, you have to understand that Damren is someone that I encountered by accident, okay? And I never had any kind of ill intent towards him whatsoever, or the Dominican people. And that's another narrative that's being floated out there, by these Hispanoteps that I hate the Dominican people and I've been slandering the Dominican people. Um, if that's the truth, then how come nobody's been able to produce one bit of evidence, one piece of a live stream where I have said anything disparaging about Dominican people? And if it's one thing that I hate more than anything else, it's a liar. And Dominican Renaissance is a liar. I'm going to let you guys know how this tension began between us from the beginning, okay? He had up a DNA video where he showed his DNA results. Now, I love to look at DNA results from the Caribbean because I find it really interesting to see the migration histories of that region. It's such a small region and these islands are so small, but the diversity and the cosmopolitan nature of our background is amazing. Now, going back 3 years ago, when you would look up Caribbean DNA results, and I think even still to this day, the overwhelming majority of DNA videos that are made, for some reason, are coming from people who are of Dominican ethnicity. I don't know why, but Dominicans make, when it comes to the Caribbean, Dominicans make the most videos out of anybody. I mean, at that time, there was no Jamaican DNA videos, man. There was like maybe one Trinidadian, right? So I like to, when I'm on a video, I like to give people positive feedback, you know? And I like to leave messages that are uplifting. And I like to engage with them, right? So Dominican Renaissance was no different, you know? Um, so I was engaging with him in conversation. And out of nowhere, the conversation just took a weird turn. And he started talking about Haitians. And it was like 1 minute I'm having a polite conversation with someone. And next thing I know, it just becomes really dark and irrational. He says something about, well, yeah, you know, all Dominicans are mixed and blah, blah, blah. And, you know, not like Haitians. Haitians are 100% African. And, you know, we're having a conversation. I say, well, you know, actually, you know, Haitians, the overwhelming majority of them are of African descent. But even though that's the case, there are still, you know, pockets of people who are mixed and, you know, of European descent as well. This kid lost his fucking mind. He completely lost it. It was like a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde moment. And he starts going on this rant. No, they're not. There's no white people in Haiti. There's no mixed people in Haiti. They killed all the white people and they've invaded the Dominican Republic. And we've got, there's what? Haitians are invading the Dominican Republic and they're killing Dominicans and they're cannibals and they work voodoo. And I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. Wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. What are you talking about? Like, there's no such thing as Haitian cannibals. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. I've seen videos all over Facebook and social media. It's all over Google. You can find it. And I'm like, what the hell what is this? But he's so adamant about it that I'm thinking to myself, well, shit, maybe there's something going on that I don't know about. So I said, okay, you know what? Let me look up and see. Because he's telling me, I'm like, where did you see these videos? He's telling me that he's seen videos on Facebook of Haitians eating Dominicans. And so I go on Facebook and I'm looking Haitian cannibals in Dominican Republic. I'm not finding anything. So I come back to him and I'm saying, like, where did you see these videos? I don't see anything. And he's like, yes, they're there. Google, it's all over Google. So I said, okay, let me go look. So I go and I sign in, to Google. I'm doing a search. Haitian cannibals. I'm looking for it. The only thing that comes up is an article that was talking about a group of Dominican, I think they were Dominican fishermen. They got stranded out at sea, and they were out there for so long that they started dying, and the survivors had to resort to survival cannibalism. So I copied the URL and I sent it to him. I said, I looked for Haitian cannibals, but this was the only thing that I found. How dare you call Dominicans cannibals? I'm like, I didn't say that. I'm saying this is the only thing that I found. And he just started losing his fucking mind. And that's how it started. It's like in that moment, he made up his mind that I was his enemy. And he's going off about black people and black people calling Dominicans black. And I said, well, I don't agree with the one drop rule. I don't, I understand that the Dominican Republic has a different way of identifying racially, and I understand because I'm from the Caribbean myself, and I don't ascribe to the one drop rule. As a matter of fact, I don't ascribe to racial classifications at all. So why would I be trying to enforce the one drop rule on somebody when it's not a part of my culture and it's not something that I follow? I'm trying to have a rational conversation with this guy. But he just made up his mind that I was an enemy. So over the years, there was this antagonism because I would see all this negative stuff that he was saying about Africans. Africans have low IQ, and Africans are backward, and they're savage, and all of this stuff. And, this is at a time when he used to show his face on his videos. And we're all looking at, I'm not the only one. Everyone is looking at him, and we're thinking, dude, if you're saying that Africans have low IQ, and you're obviously predominantly African, aren't you talking about yourself as well? So all of us were like, at a loss, and we're just like scratching our heads because here's a person who's obviously of predominantly African ancestry, and he's saying all of these racist things. He's coming out with all of these white nationalists, white supremacist talking points. And we're like, what the hell? We're all scratching our heads trying to figure this out. Now, I'm going to ask Tina to verify what I'm about to say next, because I realized that, something's wrong here. Like, obviously, he's got some kind of emotional issues. And I called up Tina. I said, Tina, listen, because Damran would come and he would hang out on her channel. He'd be in her comment section every time she had a video and stuff, and he'd be, engaging, even though the stuff that he was saying was just like fucking crazy as hell. I said, something, obviously he's got some kind of issues. I said, sweetie, do me a favor. Because you got to know, he was pissing off a lot of people, okay? Not just me. I said, I spoke to Christina and I spoke to Sophia, who had her channel back then was what was it, childlike language or something like that.
Childlike TV language.
Childlike TV language. And I said, sweetie, do me a favor. Show this guy as much compassion and kindness as you can. If you're ever tempted to like go off on him, please don't. Show him as much compassion as you can because he needs it. And
You did say that.
Can you verify that I asked you to do that?
Yes, you did. I can verify that.
Now, people accuse me of being obsessed with Dominicans or being obsessed with Latinos or LARPing for Latinos or whatever they may want to say. That's not the case at all. I don't have an obsession with Latinos. And if anyone knows this more than anyone, it's Chem123, because we were friends for many years and we would talk about this whole thing in great detail. I'm a Caribbean person. I'm also a person of mixed ancestry, as you can tell from my avatar. I grew up around mixed people all my life. My whole family is mixed. So there's no self-hatred or color struck or anything. It's like seeing a mixed Dominican, like to me, that's just like, oh, it's Tuesday. There's nothing exotic or special about that for me. You know, that's just normal. I'm not an advocate of sex tourism. For me, as a person of African descent, knowing that my ancestors had to endure sexual abuse, sexual exploitation, rape at the hands of slave masters, it makes me feel some kind of way when I look at the Dominican Republic and I see women who are engaging in prostitution, because at the end of the day, as a Caribbean person, I know that if those women had other options available to them, they would not be doing that. And I would never slander those women, because I know that those women, people call them prostitutes. I don't look at them as prostitutes. I look at them as people who are doing the best that they can to survive. And if they had a choice, that's not what they would be doing. They are not prostitutes. That's not what they are. That's not who they are. Prostitution is something that they have to do in order to survive. That's not who they are. And it breaks my heart to see them having to do that. And it breaks my heart even more to see people from our communities in the African diaspora who are going to the Dominican Republic and taking advantage of the poverty that those women are in for the sake of gratification, to bust a nut, to have an orgasm. That troubles me deeply, because I hold our people to a higher standard. Because you know what it's like. You know what it's like from your history and your background, what was done to your ancestors. Why are you doing the same thing to another group of people? Where is your conscience? So I'm not one of those people. I'm not of that mind. But unfortunately, in these videos, these DNA videos, I see a lot of racist propaganda and hate speech against people of the African diaspora, African Americans, Africans in general. And what I try to do is engage people in dialogue to show them points of view that they never thought of before, things that they never knew, information that they were not privy to. That's how me and Kem became friends in the first place. Because from those DNA videos, I found his channel, because he'd be one of those people talking bullshit underneath these Dominican DNA videos. And I could tell from the things that he was saying that there was a lot of ignorance on his part. So I would engage him in conversation and leave really long replies. And so he started complaining, I'm writing books, I'm writing too much. So I said, well, let's talk. And we began talking. And there was a lot that he learned from me. And Kem, if you're watching this, and I know you are, you know that what I'm saying is true. He learned a lot from me. So for Kem, for you to start slandering my name right now and talking shit about me, it shows a lot about your character. Okay? I'm still the guy that you call Gandalf the Great because you respected his intellect and his character. I'm still Gandalf. But the relationship between me and you, the friendship, came to an end because of your behavior and your choices. And I didn't send Tina the screenshots, but I got the receipts because after everything blew up, I still reached out to you after you got doxxed because I was concerned about your well-being, not only your well-being, but the well-being of your family members, in particular, the fact that they were children, they were babies in your household. And I was worried for you and your family. And I left you a message. I said, dude, if you need somebody to talk to, if you need to talk, give me a call. You never responded back to me. You cut me off. And as far as I was concerned, it wasn't my place to chase after you because what you did was wrong. After Antonio went on YouTube and made that racist rant, you put out a video congratulating him. And don't fucking tell me that it's not true because, Kim, I got the video. I recorded it. I'm not going to put it out there, but I'll let you know. I have it. And you ended up getting doxxed, not because of anything that Radical Latino did. That had nothing to do with him whatsoever. That had to do with the fact that Antonio's video went viral and jumped off of YouTube all over the place, and it landed in front of somebody who knew how to do this shit. And they saw your video congratulating him, and so you got doxxed as well. And you called me up the next day telling me to tell Rad to call off these people that are going after Antonio. I'm like, what the hell? Rad has nothing to do with this. And the rest is history. We got on the phone together. It was a three-way between you, me, and Rad. And he called you out on your bullshit. And you backed down. And from that, you cut me. You walked away from the friendship with me. Well, actually, you had already started walking away because you started gravitating more towards Antonio and his mess. And you started distancing yourself from me. You cut me off. You cut Christina off. And I think it's really funny that it's come full circle that you started the relationship with Tina talking all kinds of crazy smack about her, to now you were calling her up and talking her ear off for hours and hours and hours every day, to now you cut her off again and then you pop up a year later making inflammatory videos about her. Now, Kim, you're talking crap about me and my character. I got some receipts for you, my friend. Your relationship with Sophia fell apart. You know why? Because you're not a genuine person. You are a chameleon. You're a two-face. You showed her one image, but in reality, you started doing something else. Your character, sir, is severely lacking. How is it that I know all kinds of details about Sophia's personal life? Issues with her marriage, which I'm not going to divulge here. But why did I have to know all of that? And Sophia, if you're listening and anyone's doubting me, all I'm going to say is Japan. And you will know what that means. I never divulged that to anyone because it was not my business to know the intimate details of her life that she shared with you in confidence. You were so quick to congratulate Antonio, and now you're criticizing me about being obsessed with Dominican Renaissance, slandering my name. But when you and Antonio had your falling out, who was calling me up every day to talk about Antonio, asking me what part of Jersey City did Antonio live in? Did he live in an upscale area? Did he live in an upper class area? You know, taking delight in the fact that Antonio lived in the ghetto in Jersey City. I got the picture I took for you of, you know, where he used to live on Arthur Avenue. I got those receipts, Cam. But then, after Antonio's channel got taken down the first time, he comes crawling back to you on his hands and knees with his tail between his legs, and you were only too happy to have him stroke your ego and get all chummy chummy with him. However, you want to talk about character? Let's talk about character. Personal conversations that you were having with Antonio. How do I get this?
He's more like, I mean, maybe, you know, he has his own opinions. Well, he's not, like, he's not white, you know what I mean? Yeah. It's like, he has the same ideas. He understands, like, the ideology. Okay. You know? And I basically say a sympathizer sympathizes. He sympathizes with white nationalists. And, yeah, yeah. You know, he got, I don't know if you know this, but he got a talk with Christina one time. And he talked, and it was weird because I saw in the comment where he talked about, you know, you look good in blonde hair and blue eyes. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me though. You know, he's probably, you know, but I'm gonna say, wait a minute. I just figured out what you just said. What? You look good with blonde hair, blue eyes? Yeah, I mean, he loves white people. What can I say? He loves white people. Oh my God.
So you're criticizing me, but you know that every day you were talking to me about Antonio. You were talking to me about Domren and how crazy his talking points are because neither one of them are white. But now you're going to put this narrative out there, right, to slander my name. For what reason? For what reason, Kim? The last video I made of you was on New Year's Eve, and it was specifically that I'm putting it out there because people were looking at me funny style because I was friends with you. And I put that video out there to explain the nature of the friendship and why it dissolved. And I put it behind me and I walked away. And now here comes you a year later, you know, taking snipes at me, assassinating my character. You got some damn nerve. Making a bold-faced lies about me and who I am and what I'm about, when you know that I'm the first person you ever spoke to off of YouTube, and you know damn well who I am and what I stand for. Because we would talk every day, Kim, me and you. Sometimes we would talk for like 6 hours. You know exactly who I am. You know exactly my moral standards. Next up, Fighter Complex, back to you again, dude. I don't know what the fuck your problem is with me. But once again, this is another example of a person who has just made up his mind to slander me. Brotep, if you're there, if you could come back, please, I would greatly appreciate it. You've made up your mind to just dislike me for no reason whatsoever. I never did or said anything to you. I never disrespected you in any way. You decided to disrespect me and make an enemy out of me. Now, Brotep, how you doing, sir?
Yo, what's going on?
I'm all right, man. I have you here, and I've got the lovely Denise here because you're witnesses to the fact, the slander that started against me, that I exposed my genitals to Dominican Renaissance. And it was on your live stream that both you and Denise were really calling him out on that.
Yeah,
Could you,
pretty
like,
much.
like, inform the audience of like what happened,
Well,
comments that you made?
basically, what we have here is a propaganda campaign. All right, there's no other way to look at it. It has all of the earmarks of a propaganda campaign. They have it. All right, a lie, check. Spread across as much media as they can, check. You know what I mean? The vilification of the target of the propaganda, check. So basically, something as okay, what you did was rude, but that's the long and short of it. No pun intended. All right, what you did was rude, but a sex crime it was not. Ironically, one of the people who are spreading the propaganda, they legit expose themselves. Send a photo to someone with naked genitals, but then you're the one who basically exposed yourself to Dom Ren. There are two strands of it too. The first strand of the propaganda, before we even get to all the lying, is the what do you call it? The infantilizing of Dominican Renaissance. Dom Ren is not a child. He's not a little boy. But if you hear these guys tell it, you, one, exposed yourself, which that's a lie. Two, you did it to a minor because he's a little boy. This is a grown ass man. He's something like 22 something, right? 22, 23. That's a grown ass man. It's, I mean, I don't know, man. It has to stop. When I was in kind of not to dox myself, but think of it as a junior military school. And then our drill sergeant said, like, whenever you're engaging in bad behavior, he gives you a simple solution. He's like, all you have to do is stop. Just stop. So all these things they're doing, all they have to do is stop. It's never too late to do the right thing. You're going out there on platform to platform to platform saying this man exposed himself when all he did was something rude, admittedly rude, right? All you got to do is stop.
Vulgar and
You,
tasteless.
I'm sorry. Yeah,
Vulgar and
yeah,
tasteless.
yeah. Vulgar and tasteless,
But
But
in the moment, though, I gotta admit, mildly, amazingly satisfying.
no, I mean,
Listen,
and it was
when
funny,
you
and it was
vent,
funny.
it
Yeah.
was funny. It was ridiculous. Oh my god! I look at the part when I brought out the stick, like, oh god, dude, that
What it
was
was,
fucking
it was kind of
ridiculous.
like
Oh my
it
god,
was it was
fuck my dick.
YouTube. It was YouTube WWE. That's what that
It
was.
was
All right,
ridiculous,
it's
but
YouTube
yo, I own it. I own
WWE.
it.
Yeah. So all they got to do is stop the
Yeah,
propagating of the lie that you expose yourself. All you got to do is stop. Just stop. The saying that Domran was a little boy who doesn't know what he's doing, right? And you've been chasing this guy. You're a whole sex predator out here. You're stalking. All you got to do is stop. We all know it's a lie because we've seen Domran come on these platforms where he spreads very harmful propaganda about not only black people but Haitians and all these other sorts of minorities, quote unquote. All you got to do is stop because it's the truth.
and you see, the thing that incenses me is that, okay, I'm just gonna put this out there to everyone. I want you to think of this scenario. What would it be like if, let's say, I was born in the Dominican Republic? Not Dominican. My parents came from Jamaica or the United States or wherever. They moved to the Dominican Republic for whatever reason, and I was born there. I've got Dominican citizenship, but I don't actually have Dominican ancestry or roots. But I have citizenship there. And I decide to go on social media platforms and start spreading propaganda about how racist Dominicans are, how racist Dominicans are to Haitians. Um, they're criminals. I go around to all the ghettos, look at them, they're savages, look how filthy they are, look how backward they are. How do you think the Dominican people in the Dominican community there in the Dominican nation, how do you think they would react to somebody like me doing and saying those kind of things? Would I be welcome?
Well, I mean, if this were my show, you think I know what? I mean, I think you know what clip I'd play.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, you get launched the fuck up out of there.
but for all
You
the
get launched the fuck
Dominicans,
up out of there, and there'd
yeah,
be a couple slaps to the back of your head on the way out. You feel
but
me?
for all the Dominicans in in the chat,
Yeah,
how
yeah.
would you feel if I, as a non-Dominican who just happens to have Dominican citizenship because I was born there, now turns around and starts engaging in hateful propaganda and outright lies, defaming the character of the nation and the people of Dominican Republic? How would you feel about that? Let me see some comments in the chat. How would you feel about that?
Hmm.
You know, so now can you see it from the other side? Me as a person of African descent, admittedly, I'm first generation, but I know many people who I love dearly who are African American. Okay, Yuli, what's up, man? I have so much respect for you. Okay, Yuli, imagine the tone was, I'm not saying the truth. I'm exaggerating things. I'm going around and I'm saying that Dominicans are killing Haitians. I'm saying that you know, Dominicans are all criminals. They're all
And they have low
yeah.
IQ. They'll
They
never
have
amount
low
to
IQ.
anything.
They'll never amount to
Yeah.
anything.
They've
They're
never created
backward.
anything. They've never created anything in history. Why don't you come up with a list of things they've ever created? Oh, peanut butter. Oh, whoop de doo. Let's
Exactly.
say you said all that shit.
So if it was that kind of banter, Yuli, how would people in the Dominican Republic feel about me? You know, so let's look at it on the other side now. And this individual is engaging in this kind of hateful propaganda. You're not an American who has deep roots in this country. You're a
Mhm.
first generation American who has citizenship because of the struggles that African Americans gave their lives and shed their blood for, that we're benefiting from. And they have a situation that they're dealing with in this society, in this culture that is not good. And you, as an outsider, are coming in and joining the side of the people who are antagonizing them, and you're throwing gasoline on the fire to make things worse. Not only that, but you're slandering the history of Africans in general. And I'm a person of African descent. Yes, I'm mixed, but I'm predominantly African in my origin. And you're joining in with all this bullshit about low IQ and all of this stuff. How am I supposed to feel about that? I'm not supposed to feel incensed about that. I don't have the right to defend my heritage. How does that make sense? So after a while, you know, I would try to engage Dumb Ren in constructive dialogue, like I did with Kem, you know, because at that point, I thought that, you know, if you just communicate with someone in a respectful manner, something positive can happen. It didn't occur to me that I was dealing with a disturbed mind who was just full of hate. Now, yet and still, I have made over the years, apologies to him. Because I mean, I admit it, I do have a sharp tongue, and everybody knows this about me. And if you didn't know it as of 2 weeks ago, you know it now. But I want to be a better person. That's not who I want to be. So I have made efforts to apologize to Dom Ren for the times that I insulted him, called him out of his name. And mind you now, I never insulted the Dominican people or the Dominican Republic itself. I focused my anger at the individual that I had issues with, or the individuals. Tina, I'm gonna ask you to pull up the receipts. When I let's see, this is the one where I was apologizing to him. Because he said, the background is, he said that he wanted to understand why African Americans believe that there's white supremacy. And so I sent him a message. I said, okay, you know what? Listen, dude, I know that we've had some unpleasant interactions before. He erased this part of it, so I don't have the receipt of that conversation. But I said, okay, no, but well, Tina, you can show that screenshot if you could, please.
Which group? Because you separated it into 3 groups.
Okay, so what was the first group I said?
The one was you titled it Rad and Dom. The second one was Response, and then the third one was Truth and Apology.
Truth and Apology.
Okay.
Damn, nigga,
And
you bought more
OG,
receipts than Walmart. Shit.
yeah, and OG Del Rancho, if
The
that's
hell?
really you, in the comments, dude, I have tried to speak respectfully with you on multiple occasions. But once again, you're an example of one of those people who has decided to make an enemy out of me because you have an idea of who I am and what I'm about. And anytime I've gotten on lives and I'm trying to engage in a respectful conversation with you or with the panel in general, you start interrupting me, insulting me, calling me a homosexual, calling me all kinds of shit. So, dude, miss me with that bullshit, please. Okay? Okay, can you blow it up any larger?
Is that like that? Is that fine? I think that's as big as it can.
Oh, okay. So I'll just read it for the people who. Hold on a sec. Well, can you see it, Tina? Can you read it out?
Hold on.
Go get your glasses, girl.
What the hell?
Hold on. I can make it bigger.
And listen, be careful how you say that around these parts. These people got some crazy imaginations. Okay. So as you can see there, no bullshit, no insults, no personal attacks, no games. I'm standing by my word and sharing this with you in sincerity, since you previously expressed a genuine sentiment to learn about certain issues in this country. Like you, as you know, I'm a first generation American. These are all the things that I too had to learn to understand the dynamic of the country my parents immigrated to. It's long, gritty, but well worth the investment of time to watch. So basically, what I had shared with him was a video that was talking about what happened in the United States after the Civil War and the Reconstruction era, and looking at all the ways that white supremacy has shaped the policies of this country. Can you show the next message, please?
Is that the right order? I think that's the right.
I think so.
Yo,
If you can blow it up.
Okay.
this nigga Truth's a cashier. That's a whole lot of receipts, Truth.
Okay,
The
so
fuck?
look at how he responds to me. I don't care about Confederates. Has nothing to do with me or the present. And I said, if you want to understand the dynamic and history of this country, then you need to know. It's run a
Mm.
lot. It runs a lot deeper than you think. Watch the lecture. What do you have to lose? It's just knowledge. Hey, you did say you wanted to understand, didn't you? I want to understand why black people think white supremacy still exists, not what the Confederacy did centuries ago. The video is the explanation you're looking for. The video is not what you think it is, but it does go back to the past in order to put the present in perspective. If you really want to understand, then you have to look at the whole picture, not pieces of it. You can go
Nigga, I
to the
can't.
next one.
This nigga, you must, what you fucking meditate, nigga? That's a lot of patience. The fuck does dude?
Listen, back then I was meditating on a regular basis, and to be honest with you, I
Yo,
was.
can you imagine having to explain this shit to a nigga? Like,
I'll skim
bruh.
over it. You have to watch. You have to watch
Ah.
it to get the whole context. I promise you, it's a lot deeper than it seems on the surface. I'll admit that I'd been avoiding it for days because I thought it was just another talk on the Civil War. It turned out to be more than I expected. I guarantee it's worth the investment of time. I wouldn't have suggested it otherwise. So basically, you can see that I'm trying to have a mature,
Look
respectful
at this.
engagement. And
Very
look at
boring.
how he's
Literally fell asleep. Nothing I didn't already know. That's a lie, by the way. You can always tell when someone is doing that. No, he
yeah.
absolutely didn't know that.
So, all right. Look, this is like a fucking three-ring circus. Tino, could you skip forward to the part where I told him where I once again apologized for the misunderstandings in the past? I think it's the last in this series.
That's the last one I have for
Okay,
that.
let's blow it up and see what I actually said here. Oh, okay, so it goes back a little bit, but this is the end. He starts getting like snotty to me. We're gonna have to back up and say, hey, we agreed to have a mutually respectful discussion free of insults. I'm honoring my word. Secondly, as we speak, I'm up to my ears. Well, okay, we can back up. Let's go back up. I think it's the one before this or two before
Nigga,
this.
what the hell you doing studying the principles of diagnostic ultrasound? Don't you know you a nigga? You ain't supposed to be studying that kind of shit. You're supposed to
Uh,
be drinking lean and
I know,
fucking.
Massa. I'm sorry.
Can I say
So
something real quick?
is
Yeah,
it
sure.
or which? So which one is it? Or
Okay, it's the one where I tell him that, I was literally like in the hospital with my mom,
oh, I don't think it's in this group of.
No,
Like,
it would be in this one.
is it?
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna say something real quick.
Yes, sweetie.
First of all, truth, I support you.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like I said, I don't understand why, we have to, continue to over explain ourselves, you know, when it comes to stuff like this. It's
Mm-hmm.
very simple. Don Brand is a grown ass man, and like I said, even if you're older or nothing, it doesn't have anything to do with the fact that you just insulted him. And because he cannot take the insult, now he has people trying to protect him in a way from the consequences of his backstage harassment.
Yeah.
Because I have seen the receipts, and I hold a receipt personally of him sending your personal business information around. And a lot of people are unaware of this because a lot of us YouTubers try to keep it like outside of our shows and stuff like that. But there's a lot of mentally ill individuals that, are here on this platform and will try to blur the lines between this avatar environment to real life, and
Yeah.
then cry when they get a response to their personal harassment. And let's not forget that, um, this is not something that you made up, Truth. Like, you're not fighting with him and he's ignoring you. If that was the case, I would be telling you, hey, stop the harassment, because I'm against harassment of all kinds. But in reality, he has been taking shots as well, and I believe that it should have been left up to you two to actually solve this issue or not. Now, I want to share some information regarding toxicity, because what I've seen is a lot of toxic individuals in these circles trying to undermine, many things that we speak about, and also undermine our personal character. It has happened to Brotep, to Christina, to Truth, and even to myself. And even though sometimes we don't even pay attention to that, we have to call a thing a thing. These are toxic individuals. And there's a writer that he wrote one of my favorite quotes, and that's John Mark Green. And he said, toxic people attach themselves like a cinder block tied to your ankles and then invite you for a swim in their poison waters. And
Mm, that's
basically,
deep.
it is deep
Ah,
because it is
no
true.
pun intended.
But literally, it's like I said, we have to also put this to rest, I believe, after today. You
Exactly.
know, I love the fact that, you're putting an ending to it, no matter what the response is. None of us is going to continue to entertain stupidity. I believe that the people that watch us and among ourselves, we are all grown. And that means over 18 years old. Otherwise, you couldn't be allowed to be legally here on YouTube. So we all should know that, differences are going to happen, and they should be spoken among individuals. So it's like I said, it's time for us to call it quits, because we're not going to. The way I see it, Truth, is that they provoked you into, following their narrative, and then they decided to trash you in the middle of it. And I don't remember who said this quote also about, I think it was Einstein, who said that, do not argue with idiots because they will bring you down to their level and
Exactly.
win the argument over there, because unfortunately that's their area of expertise. They have a lifetime of idiocracy, and you just had a few moments of it.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So I would say, that you have to just, after today, speak your truth today. We're here to support you.
Hmm.
And after that, let the circus be the circus, because
Exactly.
to be honest with you, going from you telling them a classic insult that a lot of people say to each other nowadays, and then blowing it out of proportion, saying that you did this or you did that, is simply just another tool, another weapon that's been trying to be formed to demonize you and the message that we carry. And we don't have time for that stupidity.
Exactly. And I will say on my part, it's been a learning experience these past few years because I've always been the kind of person that I'll keep trying with someone because, like I said, my motivation for being on YouTube, it's not about ego. It's not like I'm trying to get a name for myself or anything. That's why the majority of my time is actually spent engaging people under their channels. It's like I'm actually boosting their numbers. And when I go into their comment section, I'm actually engaging in a conversation. A lot of these people, like, you have little comments, but I actually start a conversation going. So I'm adding value to their channels when I show up. And like, I'm listen, I got all kinds of receipts, and Tina knows it because I gave her a shit ton. So Tina, sweetie, I'm just gonna ask you to verify yes or no. Okay?
Okay.
I showed you some receipts that Dominican Renaissance tried to blackmail myself. Well, first he tried to blackmail Radical Latino in order to get him to take down his videos that he made about Rancho and Chivo and himself and who else? Rich Numa. And then a week later, he sent me the same ultimatum. Do you have those? You have seen those receipts, have you not?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Well, I
Um.
mean, we gotta see. It could, we
One
gotta know the difference between blackmail and
one other
extortion. You feel
Because
me?
listen.
one other thing that I want to add real quick before you say that, True. Sorry to cut you
Yeah,
off.
no, no problem, sweetie.
Is that I see a lot of people that I pray for you, and trust me, I don't even pray for many things, but I wish that you guys would be more happy, live a happy life, so that you don't have to be so miserable and spread it around. But I see a lot of people calling you gay, gay, gay. And I want to ask the same individuals, when does the term gay became an insult? Like I said before, I encourage, and I want to know to the gay community that's listening to us, the LGBTQ plus community out there, when are you guys are gonna start getting upset the people that are using your sexual orientation as an insult? When did that
Yeah.
became an insult to people? Like, I do not understand. I'm in solidarity with them, and I believe that that is just, it speaks volumes of,
Yeah.
you know,
Happy Pride Month. Those
yeah,
listening in,
exactly, exactly.
LGBTQIA community. Happy
Yeah,
Pride Month.
definitely, definitely. And like I said, it's insane that we have people doing this stuff, to be honest
And
with you.
the thing is, well, actually, I'm gonna save that for later because I know that's why a lot of people are here. But you know, um, Dom Ren came to me a week later. He had a picture of my website, and he was trying to intimidate me into taking down the video that I made about him. Now, here's the thing you got to understand about that video I made. Number one, if anyone is in front of your computer right now, I want you to go on Google, and I just want you to type in, do a Google search, Dominican Renaissance, and tell me if in fact you do or do not see his picture come up. If you're in front of your computer, I would like you to go on to YouTube, open up another tab and go into YouTube and do a search,
I
Dominican
see
Renaissance.
some of my lovely artwork is on there. Apparently, I made a portrait of Dom Run.
Hmm.
I guess that became kind of popular. That shit is on there too. Shout out to
Yep.
me.
But you see his picture, don't you? Like, his whole face
Yeah,
is out
yeah.
there.
Hmm.
All right. So that's two. Okay. Now, if you go on YouTube and you type his name, you're going to come up with a whole bunch of videos. One of them is an interview, says Dominican nationalist. It's called what? The Minority Report. And that's an interview that him and Chivo gave to this white nationalist neo-Nazi organization where he's got his entire face out there. Now, his DNA report, he put that video out there. The only thing that I did was compile All of that stuff that was already out there, I put it together in a video and I gave my opinion. Now, I think it's really funny because you heard that clip that I played from Kem with Antonio speaking. And basically, Antonio was saying the exact same thing about Dom Ren that I said. As a matter of fact, if you go on Chivo's channel right now, he's got a video talking about Dom Ren, and he's basically saying the exact same thing about Dom Ren that I said. So how am I slandering this guy? All I did was put it together. Now, Brotep, I want you to do me a favor.
Yo.
Can you explain to everybody how did you find this little section of YouTube?
Well, I mean, that's a interesting story. Rad I bumped into. I forgot what I was looking for initially. Something to do with like not even race, but something else. Rad's all over the place in terms of his content. He's interested in a lot of things. So I bumped into Rad maybe a year earlier than that. But eventually I was in the habit of trolling white supremacist sites like Red Ice TV, Identity Europa, all these different places. And on YouTube, Red Ice TV had a YouTube page, and they were making fun of Black Panther. And guess who I bumped into? For those listening in, guess who I bumped into in the comment section?
Who?
Basically, hey, our favorite guy, Dom Ren. Our favorite guy Domren was in there, Dominican
Really?
Renaissance, basically serving. You know how you play volleyball and you do a serve so the other person can spike it. That's what this dude was doing. So anytime these people said anything like, "Yeah, these black people have never accomplished anything in life," blah 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 blah. They contributed nothing to history. Domren's like, "Yeah, and they suck up resources, like giving them a serve so they could spike it. Yeah, and then they're parasites." He's doing all these sorts of things on there. And when I said, "Excuse me, but Dominican? You're a Dominican Renaissance Dominican? You're a Dominican? To my knowledge, you're not exactly German. You're not exactly Dolph Lundgren or Daniel Craig." And then I clicked on his avatar, and it took me to his page, which I saw had a lot of European, heraldry, like those paintings, and
Hmm.
the songs like "God Coming Back" and shit. Oh, all that shit. And the more you looked into his involvement in these groups, the more you found him. Identity Europa, Stefan Molyneux. He was basically hanging around. It's called self radicalization. Okay, nobody needs to recruit you anymore. If you want to join the Ku Klux Klan, they don't give you a pamphlet and ask you to come to the, what do you call it, the militia meeting anymore. You radicalize yourself. That way, when you go nuts and do something stupid, like run over a girl at a protest or empty out your gun at a garlic festival, when you do any of those things, the Ku Klux Klan itself can say, "Hey, we never recruited this guy. He found our pamphlets online. We're not responsible for what any crazy person does online." So that's the rabbit hole this guy Domren is going down, in my opinion, because he's going down. It's a set path to self radicalization. You start off with softcore white supremacists, like what's that guy, the Jewish guy who speaks really fast. Yeah, and black people. You could barely discern. You have to go back and hear his shit again. Ben Shapiro. You get a
Hmm.
little Ben Shapiro, get a little Stefan Molyneux, and eventually you work your way up to something stronger. Like when you're beginning drinking, you start with a little Henny. No, no, not you start with a little Corona. You know what I'm saying, or Coors Light. Then you move up to some Henny. Then eventually you get some Jim Beam in you. So basically, that's where he's headed right now. And I used to care. You still care for some reason. You still care for some reason. I used to care. But when this dude was talking about Haitians break people's heads open to drink their brain, I jumped off the train. You feel me? So he's on his own with this shit. He's on his own with it. But that's where I found dude. That's how I found this community itself, through him, and seeing where the pages are that he's interacting with. I saw Xtina's videos. I'm like, oh, among all this foolishness, there's actually some value because I was seeing the videos that she's making about Mexican culture, the what do you call liberators and all these sorts of things. I'm like, okay, there's some value in this community. But if it were up to me, looking through Domren's material on his YouTube page and the places that he frequents and the people that he's connected to, yeah, I would think this is a cesspool, which for the most part it is. But
Exactly.
that's where I
So,
found that's where I found him.
where is the lie in what I've said? I haven't lied about him. All I did was tell the truth. And, it just got to the point where I was like, okay, you know what? I take this very seriously because just look at the racial atmosphere of this country right now. This shit is fucking insane. It's not as simple anymore as, you know, the racist white people are attacking the black people. It's a fucking free for all. It's like everybody is at everybody's throats right now. This shit is insane. You got people going out here beating the shit out of 70 and 80-year-old Asian people. That's what this country has come to. Every freaking week, just about, there's a mass shooting somewhere. This society,
Yep.
this nation is fucking sick. This is sick. Look at what we have become. And now you got people who are taking delight in pouring gasoline on the situation. So yeah, you know what? I've been carrying around all of this anger, and here's the thing. Christina, um if you would please, dear lady.
Yes.
Okay, I'm just going to ask you a yes or no.
Hmm.
Is it indeed the truth that on multiple occasions over the years I had begun to make a video about Dominican Renaissance, just like trashing him, and at the last second I pull the plug and say, you know what, I don't want to do this because what if dude is really emotionally unbalanced? I don't want to be the one that like pushes him over the edge. I don't want to hurt his feelings. And so I'm like, I don't think God wants me to do this. And so I decide not to do it
Yes.
on multiple occasions.
Yes. Hmm.
So all of this shit that, like I had some ill will, and like I said, on multiple occasions I was told to do, dude, I am not your enemy. I don't have any ill will towards you whatsoever. All I want to understand is, where does this hatred come from? And I apologize to him for the times that I insulted him. I'm sorry. Look, I'm sorry that I did that. It was wrong. I apologize. Okay. But at the same time, you got to understand that this is a very unpleasant period of time that we're going through in our society right now. And the things that we do and say on social media do have an impact, because there's all kinds of people out here, and a lot of these people are not very tightly wrapped. And seeing this kind of inflammatory propaganda only helps to push them further over the edge. I mean, for God's sakes, look at what happened to Kim and Antonio last year. That shit fell in front of somebody who obviously knew how to do this stuff, and their whole business was out there. The shit is so bad that it wasn't bad enough that they doxed Kim. They went and they doxed his sister. They went and they doxed his mother. I mean, Jesus Christ, man, come on. What the fuck?
Hey, Truth. Rancho wants to know if you'll let him speak with you. I wouldn't put the link in the chat though. I sent it to him privately. It's up to you
Listen,
though.
Rancho, maybe some other time, but based on the way you have treated me, I don't have any faith in you right now. I'm sorry, but I'm at a point now where I'm not so generous with my time with people. Like I said to Fighter before, you have to earn my respect and my trust. And I'm sorry, but based on your past behavior, I have no respect or trust that you're going to stand by your word. So maybe at some point down the road, if I see, maybe we can get there, but it's not going to happen tonight. I'm sorry. And that's just the truth. I really would have liked to have had a discussion with you. I really sincerely did want to interview you on my channel, but dude, you got to understand, I got a crazy life right now, man. I got a lot going on. And that's the only reason why I didn't reach out to
Not only
you.
that, to Chris Torres, honey, bring it on, baby boy. I'm not scared of anybody. If anybody tries to quote unquote dox me, there's a reason why since day one I've been on YouTube. I post my face. I have nothing to hide. You come for me, you know what you're gonna get. So bring it on.
So, you know, like I said, and there you go. You got people here that are still for the fuckery and the foolishness, you know?
Yeah, people, like I said, people has to take their mental issues, take their stupid ass to therapy. It's like I said, oh, I'm gonna dox you. I'm going to dox you. Like literally, like we could care less. There's a reason, like I said, there's a reason why I have put my face out there since day one. I really do not give a flying fuck about anybody that's obsessed enough and has nothing going on for their lives to actually try to harass me on my personal life. Now, don't think for a second that I'm not taking screenshots of this and contacting the FBI. When you get a restraining order or you get any other legal repercussions, like I've stated before, I will enforce my rights on anybody that tries to come for me.
Amen. Now, for culturally Hispanic living in Jesus, I did say sorry. That is where I started. I did admit that the times that I insulted him, I was wrong. And I engaged him, as you saw the receipts. I tried to engage him in respectful conversation. You know what? You're right. He doesn't have to accept. But you know what? You know what else? I still do have a right to defend my heritage. So, how about that? And at the end of the day, and I sent him when he was blackmailing me, I said to him, dude, and the receipts are there, but you know what? I want to get this, I don't want this to go past 1 o'clock. If at all possible, I'd like to finish this before 1 o'clock because Tina's been gracious enough to extend herself to give me her platform. But the woman has a life to live, and she got a job to get to tomorrow. Um,
True
I,
that.
s- I said to him, look, dude, at the end of the day, I am no threat to you whatsoever. I'm not your enemy. I don't have your personal information. And even if I did, I would not put it out there in the public. I wouldn't do that. So let's just, you go your way and I go mine. And I said what I had to say. I got it off my chest. That's it. You go your way, I go my way. He decided to leak my personal information, my professional information, or one aspect of my professional information. He decided to leak it to Chivo. Now, we both know that Chivo ain't got two freaking brain cells to rub together. How the hell would Chivo have found my information? Now, how did Dumb Ren find my information? I'm glad you asked that question. That was my stupidity. Because was just curious, after I put up my video about him, he made like all these little videos about me, and I was just curious to see, because the videos that he put up were like really stupid. I was like, damn, that's it. So I clicked on my computer on to Instagram. Now, I didn't realize that on my computer my dance profile was open in Instagram, and somebody had said something out. I didn't even make the comment to Dumb Ren. It was somebody else that was saying something historically inaccurate, and I made a comment. And from that, Dumb Ren got my name. And I'm a public figure, dude. I've been performing for over 35 years now. I'm all over fucking Google, you know? If you know my name, you know? And he deliberately took that information and gave it to Chivo. And then he sends me a message on IG, which Tina can verify with a yes or a no, that look, they got your information. He wanted me to take down the video that I made of him. I'm not playing. I don't play. I said, people got your information. I said to him, well, the only way, if people have my information, that's because you gave it to them. And once again, I'm going to say to you, at the end of the day, dude, I am not your enemy. I am not a threat to you. I don't mean you any harm. All I wanted was for you to get a taste and to know what it feels like. I just wanted to send you a lesson. That's it. And I left it at that. And next thing I know, I've got like a dance clip from Chivo of me in a very nice outfit, by the way. But I'm pissed off because he didn't choose my best dance clip. So I'm fucking pissed off for that. But basically, in a nutshell, that's what it is. Now, for all of the people who came here, you want me to come out of the closet? Hey, it is June. Well, drum roll, please. None of your fucking business. Listen, closets are made for clothes, all right? Look, I don't play these fucking games. I do not identify, I don't ascribe to the notion of racial classification. I don't ascribe to the notion of putting people in sexual orientation boxes. I think this shit is all fucking bullshit. Human sexuality is a lot more complicated than people want to make it out to be. And I do not play that game. Now, a lot of people got shit twisted because they saw that dance clip of me. And yes, I am a dancer. I've been a dancer for over 34 years, which is one of the major reasons why I've traveled to Egypt so frequently. I was doing research, cultural research on the folklore in Egypt. I don't know why people think this is something to be ashamed. I mean, it's not like you found out that I was stripping at the corner bar, you know? I am a legitimate dance artist. The
That's
dance
good money,
form.
though.
Hmm?
That's good money.
Damn,
I'm just fucking
before,
with
listen, before the bubble burst, it
I
was
want
damn
to
good money.
learn. I want to learn. So you got to teach me. I'll pay for a class.
Listen, you know something? In a way, this is a great thing to happen because now I can expand the content on my channel. There's a lot of people that I wanted to interview, but I didn't want to because I wanted to keep my two worlds separate because, my channel isn't about dance. It's focusing on historical and social issues and spiritual issues. That's really the focus of this channel. Dance is like a distraction. And I wanted to keep the dance community away from this part of my life because, yeah, the
I hear
dance
that.
community can get
Mhm.
messy as fuck. However, it's not so much an issue now because I've already given several interviews and lectures about the issues of colorism that we face within the community. So people are used to me speaking about it now. So on that end, it's not a big deal anymore. But I would like to. So we talked about all the bitter. So now comes the sweet. Okay. So the type of dancing that I do in the media is associated with female performers. It's perceived of as being a female dance form. The truth of the matter is it's a unisex dance form. It's really a social folk dance. Okay, so just like you have in Dominican Republic, you have bachata and you have merengue. In Egypt, in particular, this is one of the dance forms. This is like their primary dance form that they have. Okay, Egyptians or Arabic speaking people don't call this dance belly dance. Okay, there's two aspects of the dance. There's the social folk dance, what I talk about, and that's called raqs baladi. Okay, raqs in Arabic means dance, and baladi is anything that's native or local to the area. Now, the overwhelming majority of dance that happens in Egypt is social. Okay, people don't go to school to learn how to dance. It's just like in Dominican Republic or Puerto Rico, salsa. You don't go to school to learn how to dance salsa or to dance merengue or bachata. The way you learn is from the time you're a little kid. You're at the weddings, you're at the birthday parties, you're at those celebrations with the family, and you're the little kids. You're watching the grown-ups, and you're trying to figure out what the grown-ups are doing. So you're there with your six left feet, and you're trying to figure it out. And after a while, you assimilate it. That's how people learn how to dance in Egypt. This is a dance that is not gender specific. However, as a form of entertainment, it's become, in the dawning of the 20th century, with the coming of the tourist industry. Of course, we know most tourists are men, they got the money. They started opening up Western style nightclubs to cater to the Western tourists and particularly the westernized upper class. They started taking the folk dance, and what they did is they combined it with elements of ballroom dance. And, because now they were on these big stages. In the past, when you hired a dancer, you only hired a dancer for a special occasion, and they came to your house to dance. So the space is really small, right? But now they're on big stages. So they got to move around, they got to fill up the space. Another major change that happened was the, how do you say, sexualizing of the dance with, the two-piece costume that we all associate with a quote unquote belly dancer, right? That is not an actual part of the culture. They got that from Hollywood because that was the image that people had in the West that they wanted to think, this mysterious image. And they were like, well, shit, if that's what they're paying for, then we're going to give it to them. So that's where you get this, really skimpy costume kind of thing. Now, that aspect of the dance is called raqs shari. Sharki if you're outside of Cairo, because in Cairo they don't pronounce the k. Ras Shari. Ras once again means dance, and Shari means Eastern. Now, the reason why they called it that was because in these nightclubs, they weren't just doing Egyptian music and dance. They were doing Western dance. So they had ballet dancers, they had Western ballroom dancers, they had Western, symphony orchestras. And so you would get a whole variety show. And at the end of the evening, you had the quote unquote, in English, it's translated Oriental dance. You had the Oriental dancer, the Rashari. And so from there, it started, appearing in the movies. They had a lot of movie musicals. So it's been associated as a woman's job. Now, in Egypt, dance is looked down upon because a woman's role is supposed to be in the home and you're not supposed to display yourself in public, right? But at home, everybody dances. The men dance, the women dance, the children dance. It's not a problem to dance socially. Now, a lot of people say, well, this is a contradiction. So, how do you explain this? So, if it's okay to dance at home, why is it not okay to dance in public? So, let me put it to you this way. Okay, you're at home with your mom and she's wearing her bathrobe and she's got her fuzzy slippers and she's got the big rollers in her hair with that red net on top of it, right? Now, in the context of being at home when she's frying up, your ham and eggs, she's dressed okay, right? But now, what happens if mommy goes to the supermarket dressed like that? It's a whole different situation, right?
Yo, how you know my mom did that, yo? Yo,
You see,
that.
and you're traumatized. But the good thing is you're making good money now and you can afford the therapy.
Yep.
So the dance became popularized in the media. First of all, they considered it a low class thing to be a dancer in general, right? Because they look at it like, God damn, you're so poor and uneducated. The only thing you could do to make a living is dance. God damn. So, back in the day, like, that was like a really low, that was like, yeah, like you just, you don't have a man to provide for you, or you're a low life, that's the only thing you can do. But we enjoy watching you, but goddamn, no, you're not gonna marry into this family. But we love watching you. You're entertaining. So there's that dichotomy. So it becomes associated not only with women, it becomes thought of like a woman's job, just like a lot of people thought about like being a school teacher was a woman's job, or a nurse. Being a nurse was a woman's job. That's the mentality that they have about it, right? And it's low class. It's like entertainers in general, singers, musicians, they're all low lives. But the lowest of the lowest of the low would be a dancer. And the only thing lower than a dancer was a woman that plays a tambourine. It was really fucked up, right?
What?
Yeah,
That's
because
fucking random, bro.
It
yeah,
is. It is.
Yeah, that's
it's
random as
like,
hell.
because that's like the least skill
That's the
instrument
least
that's
skill
out
you
there.
can apply
Yeah,
to a,
that's,
to
I
a
mean,
task.
okay, if you're playing the lute, well, that takes some skill. All the other instruments you're playing the flute, that takes some skill. A fucking tambourine, oh my god,
Hey, stand
yo,
there and shake that.
you know, like
Oh,
like
wait,
shit,
wait, wait,
man.
wait. That's not even the tambourine. The tambourine is the kind of like a small drum, right?
Yeah. So it's
Oh,
like if
you
a
know what?
woman,
I imagine that you said that thing with the it's kind of like a circle, and it has those little rattling things on it. Cha 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 cha
well,
cha.
yeah, like in okay, so they have several kind in Egypt. They got the big ones. They call that a mazhar,
Mm,
and then you have the duf. The duf is the one. It looks like a really fat tambourine with the big, cymbals on it.
mm.
So like if that's the way you're making your living, they're like, oh God, it sucks to be you. know.
So judgmental.
So yeah, so that's what it is. So this is why people associate the dancing professionally, as that's a woman's job, because quite honestly, a man has more options of professions that are available to him. Women are very limited. And the fact that you have to work as a woman, you have to work is like, not a great thing. Now, how do I get into this shit? Well, I'm glad you asked me that. So, as a child, I'd always been interested in the music. I loved the music. I fell in love with the music. But I came to it with a hip hop sensibility, right? Because back in the late 70s, early 80s, dancing was a big thing in the community, right? If you didn't know how to dance at a party, you were just a fucking social outcast. And not only that, but there were set dances that would come out every few months. And the only thing that was worse than not knowing how to dance was showing up at the party doing the old dance. So what we would do is we go home when we see the new dance and we practice over and over and over and over again until we get really good at it. And then you show up at the party and you dance and you're popular and you can dance with all the girls and all of that stuff, and life is wonderful, you know? So I've been listening to the music for many years, and I get the idea in my head that, it would be fun to know how to dance to this. But I'm like, but damn, only women dance. Like, men don't dance to this, only women do. So my first year of college, this was 1986, I went to a concert. I would go to any place where I could hear the music, I would go. So I heard like a dance concert was being advertised at the Riverside Church Festival up in Upper Manhattan. And so whoa, there's going to be dancers. That means there's got to be music. And I wanted to hear the music. So I went, so the concert, it was great. I come back, I tell my history teacher. Now, he used to go every summer, he'd go to Spain to do, research in the old archives. And after he'd do that, he'd hop the boat across to Morocco and go hiking up in the mountains with the Berbers. So I tell him, yeah, I went to this concert, it was Middle Eastern dance, and it went with the music so well. And he goes, oh yeah, and the men, they dance just like that too. And then he's telling me, I look at him like, you're full of shit. And then he's telling me about, him and his wife when they lived in Chicago. They lived in the Lebanese neighborhood, and they'd go to all these weddings and people were throwing money at the bride and groom. And I'm thinking to myself, nigga, now I know you shit, cause who the fuck throws money away? you know? What the hell did I know, man? I lived in the Bronx my whole life, right? But I started taking classes with a person who was not a very good teacher, but she allowed me to be in the class. And from that, I could see what the movement vocabulary was. So I did, my hip hop thing. Like, well, if I'm going to do this shit, I got to fucking own it. So let me see the movements. Okay, what's the movements like? Okay, how do I make my body do that? So I go home and I tinker around in the mirror until I got it right. And the thing is, I was really passionate about this. And at that time in the United States, people thought about this dance that it was like a striptease. And to be honest with you, in a lot of the nightclubs where dancers would perform here, they were god awful because the only thing that the owner wanted was a girl with nice tits and a small waist and a pretty costume. So a lot of the dancers were god awful, and I thought to myself, man, this is really fucked up because this is a real dance form, and it deserves to be shown the same kind of respect and recognition like flamenco or hula or any other ethnic dance form. And so I wanted to educate people what it was about. And the next year, 1988, I went to Egypt for the first time, and that's when I saw the dance. I saw like the best professional dancers, but more important, I saw the real people. And you got to understand that 99.9% of the dance that happens in these countries happens not by professionals, but by everyday people, you know? And I lost my train of thought. It's happening by real people, and it's unisex, men and women dance. And it's just an expression of joy. You're expressing your joy, you're expressing your personality. So if you want to express your way sexually, you want to express that energy, you could, because it's emotional expression. It's an emotional expression through music. So if you're feeling goofy and, like comical, you express that. If you're contemplative, you express that. Or you express a whole range of emotions. So when I saw like the atmosphere in Egypt when the real people are dancing, I was like, damn, I wish people in the United States could see this. So I decided, well, why don't I show them? Now, here's the thing. I'm a guy, number one. People are not used to seeing guys do this, but I realize that, as a guy, if I'm out there dancing, right away, I'm breaking the narrative because I'm showing them a different aspect than the stereotype that they're used to, right? And I'm good, by the way. I got to toot my own horn. But now the thing is, like, I wanted to just run out there in my jeans and t-shirt. Well, damn, that's the way they do it over there. Why can't I do it? They're like, nah, if you're going to be professional, you have to have a costume. I'm like, but why? And they're like, because now this is professional. So what do Americans want to see? They want to see, they don't want to see jeans and a t-shirt. They want to see Alibaba and the 40 Thieves. They want to see Aladdin. That's what they want to see. So I have to wear the
Disrespect.
monkey suit. Yeah. And but
Disrespect.
now listen, back then I was so skinny that like I was like, I'm not running out here showing no bare chest. Like that shit is not happening. Cause like people don't need to see these ribs. So I would wear a shirt underneath my costume.
The ribs.
Which made me feel more comfortable because it was more in keeping with like the folkloric culture, and I wanted to represent that old antique folkloric culture, the way they used to actually dress with the baggy pants and the shirt and the vest. But now the women started complaining. They were like, it's not fair, the women are showing all of this skin, we want to see something too. So I came up with that net t-shirt, which did a lot because it made me feel like I was covered because I don't want to be out there naked. And but here's the other thing. Now, it's true in Middle Eastern culture, the way they show their appreciation is by giving you tips. But the way they do it is they shower it over you, or they tuck it in your costume. Now, here's the thing. Sometimes when women get drunk, they kind of lose control.
You know what I'm saying?
You know where I'm going with this,
Truth,
right?
truth was out there sinning.
Yeah,
I've
they
had
Truth
wanted
was
to
out there
touch.
sinning.
They wanted to touch that skin.
Listen, they were
Uh,
they were trying to wind up the clock. I mean, like there was this one time this woman, she wanted to take that shit home. And so like the net t-shirt keeps people away from the danger zone because I can still keep dancing. So I just pull out the shirt and I point and say, put it in there. And they put it in there. And the great thing about that is that I keep all my tips, because what a lot of these nightclubs will do when people shower the dancer with the tips, they'll send the waiter to pick it up, but they don't give you all your tips. If I got the
what
t-shirt,
kind of rip
as you
off
can
shit is that?
see, as you can see in Chivo's picture, I keep all my tips. By the way,
Chivo's
those
picture?
are all the ladies that gave me that tip money. And the great thing
What the
about being
fuck
a
did I miss
dancer,
it? What I come into
oh,
here? Shivo has pictures.
oh yeah, he
I mean,
put out
I
like
thought you were talking in the abstract, like.
no, he leaked my video out there.
Oh wow.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
and they thought that was gonna make shame me, dude. I'm not ashamed. Listen, I have traveled all over the world with this dance. I've performed in Morocco. I've performed in Turkey. I performed the last time I was in Egypt. I actually went to dance at a friend's wedding, and that was a crazy experience. But that was a lot of fun. That was the best part of the trip. It was all downhill from then. I've been to the United Kingdom. I've been to Australia. I've been to Japan. I've been to Argentina. Hated it. I've been to Trinidad and Tobago. I've been to Puerto Rico. I've been all across the United States. I've been to Australia. Did I say Australia and Japan? Yeah, I think I did. Okay, well, I did now. I've danced at the Museum of Natural History in New York. I've danced at the Lincoln Center Dance Research Library. I've danced at the United Nations in the Doug Hammarskjöld Theater. I've given numerous lectures and demonstrations and countless cultural events, and taught many master classes across the world. So that's what I do. As well as, I used to perform quite regularly in a lot of the top nightclubs here in, the New York City, New Jersey area. But the thing about being an artist is that it's not a stable income, and I'm like, you know what? I may not look my age, but I know how old I am, and I can't be waiting on like my money going up and down. So I went back to school for another profession so that I can keep dancing, but now I got a steady income and a nigga can eat for change, But the interesting thing about this dance, and I'm gonna have like Tina. So Tina, you know what? That first part, we can skip that. We can just go to the part with the dance, because the part that I want to make, get across to everyone, getting away from the stereotype of the hoochie coochie dancer, is that at the end of the day, this is an African dance form. And what typifies African dance as a whole from all the other countries or continents is the fact that when Africans dance, we use the whole body, not just the feet. So Egypt is a part of Africa. This is
Yeah,
something
don't
that is
don't don't let
generally
them know
found
that.
all over.
Don't let them know
Well,
that.
they know, they know.
Don't let them know
So
that.
when you look at, if you look up on the internet, what's the origins or the history of belly dance, you're going to come up with a whole bunch of bullshit about fertility rituals and dancing for the sultan and mother goddess worship or preparing you for childbirth. It's all bullshit. This is just simply a folk dance that everybody does. And moving the body in this way, anytime you see articulation in the torso, the hips, the chest, the shoulders, that's African. Now, Egyptian dance does have some Asiatic influences. Like if you go to Chivo's video, you see me rolling my shoulders. It's not rolling my tits, you know. It's rolling the shoulders. That actually comes from like Persian dance and Central Asian dance.
Well, I
Like
mean,
that's
I'm not
something
gonna
that
go give
Egypt
Shivo
founded.
views. You have the video?
Yeah,
If you play
whatever.
the video, I'm not gonna go give Shivo views.
Well,
The fuck
you
that
all
guy.
can. My name is out there. My stage name is Tariq Sultan, and you can go on YouTube and you can find my videos all over.
Tariq
Um,
Sultan. It sound like a Bond villain. What you doing
yeah,
dancing? Shouldn't you be
the
tracking
bomb
down
is in
some
the
missiles or
hookah.
some shit?
The bomb is in the hookah that I'm balancing on my head. So I'm gonna show Tina, if you would please be so kind. We're gonna start off looking at different areas of sub-Saharan Africa, and then you see the correlation with Egypt. So if you would, fair lady, please.
Hey, so that link you sent me, it's like a video of a live panel. It's not dancing or anything.
It's a live panel? Shit, hold
Yeah.
on a second. Okay, let me. Oh, yeah, okay, you have to skip forward. Skip forward
Oh,
past the live panel. Yeah.
okay, hold on.
Yeah, I mean, they said something about doxing, which I think we already know. We've covered that, so we don't need to have that.
Okay, so just start it as soon as the dancing starts.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Okay, all right. Okay. Oh, wait a second. Hold on, I didn't share my audio. Hold on. Sorry.
Bad Tina, bad Tina.
My bad.
That African admixture is working wonders.
There,
Tina,
Is that low IQ?
you need more European in you. What was the admixture again for Europe? You had something like 29%. You slipping, yo.
For
You need to get like he's slipping.
You have some high IQ in you, Tina.
Can y'all hear it? Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit. You just raise that up. You said that's Egypt, Truth? That's
No,
Egypt?
this is Congo.
Congo? Oh,
But now you can see the way the hips are being articulated.
yeah.
Because in the Western world, we have this idea that moving your hips is a feminine thing. But in Africa,
Oh, no,
this
no,
is
no,
very
it's not.
common.
Yeah, it's very common. Yo, these niggas are swole. I need to get my pokes on. Shit.
Yeah, I know. They were born that way. I fucking hate them.
Yeah, it's kind of like
They were not
bachata
born that
too.
way. That's all pull-ups,
When
nigga.
you
Like you
dance,
gotta do your
when
pull-ups,
you
your
dance,
squats. I'm sorry, God.
When you dance
It,
bachata or salsa, you move your hips too as a man. This is not like
mhm.
foreign to us, you know.
Okay, and this is Uganda.
We goes down. That's Uganda. This is Uganda.
And the thing about
The
these dances, these are expressions. It's about an expression of joy. You know.
third shorty
So
on
keep
the
going,
left
keep
could get
going.
it. No, she's scrubbing through the video. So third shorty on the left could get it.
Well, I wanted her to show like the guys doing their thing in there too.
Okay.
Well, you see, this is a wedding in Cairo,
Cairo, okay.
and you see, you got the girl doing dancing, the guys do dancing. You know, it's the movement vocabulary is the same for both sexes.
Mm.
It's not a hoochie coochie dance. It's not exotic dance. It's not a sexual dance. You know, this is an
Yeah,
expression
but
of joy.
I still I can't help but think that there's a more masculine energy that you can actually bring to this too. You know what I'm saying? It can't just all be unisex. That there's got to
Well,
be like a
well, here's the
masculine
thing.
energy. Because
Here's the
like
thing. It's
if I
like,
start doing this, I ain't gonna move like that. I gotta be honest with you. I ain't gonna try to like, you
well,
feel
here's
me?
the thing. It's based on your personality. So if you're an effeminate man and you dance,
Yeah.
you're gonna dance in
Okay.
an effeminate
I
manner.
got you.
If
I got
you're a masculine man, when you dance,
you. Yeah.
that energy is gonna come through because that's who you are. You know.
Yeah. All
So
right.
whoever you are, whatever your energy is, that's what comes out when you dance.
Yeah. Cool. Cool.
But you know, I just showed that to put things into context because people are, oh, look at him, he's gay. Ah, he's trying to be a woman. Nah, it's
Well, I
this
mean,
is not a woman's dance, you know?
like Denise had said before, when is the LGBTQIA community gonna basically approach these people for doing this shit? Because and it's not only these guys who do it too. I notice even on the flip side, like the gir- the girl power movement and the
Hmm.
the feminist side.
Yeah.
If you ever have any problems with a female, like a few years ago, there was something called the holla back, no holla back girl or some shit like that, where they were quote unquote cracking down on street harassment, right? And so one of
Hmm.
the things they started saying was, well, a woman doesn't owe you her time. Like, nigga, we know that. That's why but, and they're like, how would you feel if a man started brushing up on you? And then I'm like, wait, I'm straight, so I'd feel uncomfortable because it's a guy. Why are you using that community as a threat? Like you're threatening me with homosexual sexual assault. Like it's disrespectful to that community. You know, you could have said, how would you feel if you were if it's some ugly girl or whatever, like she got like one tooth and shit and whatever, and she trying to push up, and then you ain't feeling her, and then she keep doing it. That I'd get the point, but they're using the gay thing. They're like, "How'd you feel? Some big dude grabbed you." Okay, yeah, yeah. Obviously, I wouldn't like it because I'm not gay.
Yeah.
And even if I were gay, maybe I'm not feeling that guy. That's sexual assault. Why are you using those people's sexuality as a threat or even an insult? Which is what these guys do here. Truth teacher's gay. Okay, first of all, if he was, which is none of your business if he is, but if he was, how's that an insult? Second,
Exactly my point. Exactly my point.
like what
And
the
then
hell?
and the part that's even more fucked up about that is like, god damn, don't you think I could do better than dumb Ren? Like, come on, man.
He's scraping the
And
bottom of
now
the barrel. Truth,
I find funny,
truth teacher
that
slumming it.
Like, god damn, man. I mean, at least give me credit for having better taste than that, man. I mean, come on. Like,
Yeah.
but the thing that's aggravating about that is that, like, dude, And going back to
Straight
Fighter with
guys
this
got a
bullshit,
list.
it's like,
Yeah.
I'm not
Yeah.
talking anything about sexuality. I'm not joking with you. I'm not flirting with you. I'm talking about culture. I'm talking about history. I'm talking about social issues. Why the fuck are you sitting here and all you can think about is what is my sexuality? Like, nigga, like, really? Like, come on now.
Mm.
It's ridiculous. And the thing about it is, look, I'm not like some big,
Nigga, what you need to do
quarterback
is slide
bragging
off
my
with a girl. Just slide off with a girl, nigga. Like I know mad niggas who used to do that shit. Like
Listen,
they front like they.
I'm not gonna put my dirt out there in the past. That's my past, and that I found Jesus. Okay, I
Some of
found
my
Jesus.
cousins used to do that shit because like when niggas like make fun of them because the thing is that I don't know if they still use that shit, but there used to be a term called metrosexual. It's dudes
Yeah,
who go and they get their fingernails glossed over, they get the crisp shape up. You know what I'm saying? Where niggas wear lip gloss and shit like that, or whatever. And they just clown them like, oh,
you know, you know what I used, you know what I used to
cheap
love to do.
boy.
You know what I
So
used to love
niggas,
to do when I
what
was
niggas
younger.
do is, I'm sorry, God.
It's really fucked up, but I used to enjoy it so much. Like you got those restaurants that got like the big glass windows. So
Um, yeah.
I would walk by, and there'd be like you see this guy and this girl, but the guy's got his back turned to you,
Mhm.
and the girl can see you though, right? And I would like
Yeah.
flirt the shit out of her, because you see her, she's sitting there, and you can tell this is like a fucking this date is agony. And
Yeah. Well, I mean,
I would get up behind the guy, because he's got his back turned to me, and I'd be like flirting with her like
So
fucking
you
well,
crazy.
also do a public
that's
service with
scumbag
this
behavior.
dancer.
But actually, no. I
Yeah,
mean, but the thing is, you're actually doing dude a favor though, because if the date's going that badly,
yeah, because yo,
it
then
needs
she
to be put
starts
out of its misery.
smiling.
Yeah, that's a
She
public
starts
service.
smiling. That was
Yeah,
a part. Damn, I should have
it's a
charged
public
her.
service. Yeah,
I should have
Eddie's
charged
gonna
them. I
charge
should
him.
have charged them for that. Now she's smiling. And like she think it's for him. Yo, I used to do so. Listen, man, I used to do some really grimy shit when I was young. But like I said, I found Jesus. I don't do that no more.
So yeah,
But yo, actually, I mean, there were a couple of times I had guns pulled out on me. Like, I'm lucky to be alive.
yeah. Though you don't
That
fuck around with
we're
people's
not
girls. Man.
talking about that tonight.
In
But
fact, they said that that's a common way to die. To mess
yeah,
with someone's significant other.
yeah. So yeah, listen, man. I think a lot of us, like there's a lot of us that were lucky to be alive, because when we were younger, we did a lot of really dumb shit. And yeah.
Yeah.
Oh well, yeah, man. I've had an interesting life, but that is the long and short of it, and the whole situation. Yeah, so thank you, Tina, for allowing me to be on your platform to put all of this stuff to rest.
Mhm.
Because honestly, I don't want to keep making videos like this. This is not the reason why I came on YouTube, and this is not what my channel is all about. So going deaf. No, I didn't run with no gullic, man. Get out of here, knucklehead.
Man, listen. Um, for
But
me, I stopped. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
but it. Part of the reason why I blew up is because it was just so frustrating, because I really think that live streaming on these platforms is very important, because it allows us to be able to speak with each other.
Yeah,
Mhm.
interaction is important. Definitely.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so I think, we cover a lot of really important topics a lot of times,
Yeah.
and, from my point of view, the reason why I started engaging is because, and I still do believe it to a great degree, that a lot of the disagreements come down to cultural misunderstanding, you know? And especially with the Dominican community, it's like they're very new here. And unfortunately, they get scapegoated as being, the colorist, when in fact, all of us are dealing with this issue. And I say this time and time again, it's not just the Dominican Republic. It's every society in the Western Hemisphere and parts of Europe where there was a history of slavery and colonialism. We're all dealing with the aftermath of post colonial reality, you know?
Yeah.
And whatever you find in the Dominican community, you will find it in the African American community, you will find it in other Caribbean islands. And this is why, like I kind of gravitated towards these conversations, because I'd hear people talking about things and I'm like, damn, we have the same problems in Jamaica too. Like, I understand what that's like. I experienced that too, So it wasn't me trying to tell, oh, I know how Dominicans think. No, it's that we have similar things in my culture, so it was like trying to get a communication and dialogue going, because like when they talk about corruption in Dominican Republic, it's not just the DR,
Yeah.
and
That's
it's
true.
like it's not just DR, it's like the same shit happened in my country too. It's like we all are going through the same struggles. So I get frustrated because I see I see opportunities being squandered away because people get on these live streams and they make it messy as fuck and they start disrespecting each other. And I want to share with people. And I don't get the chance to do that. And so that frustration builds up. And then it gets to the point, if you don't check yourself, where it explodes and you make an ass out of yourself on social media, you know? And so once again, I own the bullshit that happened on Fighter's channel. He played me, and I took the bait. And once again, that's my bad. I don't advocate that as the way people should behave. That was wrong on me. Was I wrong for my anger towards Dom? No, I think I was very justified in my anger, but we pray for the wisdom to find more constructive ways to handle our anger. And at the end of the day, that's all we can do, is work on ourselves to try to be the best versions of ourselves that we can be.
Yep.
Stop blaming Dominicans and colonial powers. Nobody's blaming Dominicans, dude. You're so strange. Like these weird little comments you make. So,
No, that's propaganda, fam. That's
how am I
propaganda.
a victim?
I
Like,
ainn never heard you say anything anti. I ain't never
but you
heard it.
see,
I mean,
like this, these are the kind of people that I'm talking about. At the end of the day, when you encounter people like this, you got to know disengage. Unless you're
yeah,
joking, which is totally possible, but you're not here and I don't hear your voice. I can only see words on a screen. So maybe I assume that you're being a troll. I don't know. Maybe you're not being a
yeah,
troll. Maybe you're being, you know, sarcastic and funny. In which case, I can understand that. More power to you. But like I said, at the end of the day, we all have to understand that there's no such thing as this race is good, that race is bad. At the end of the day, we are all human beings and we are all capable of greatness. We are all capable of doing despicable things. And it's up to us to take responsibility for ourselves and to try to cultivate good character. And it's not easy. Easier said than done, you know? So people
same.
like Lady of Yoruba over here, these are the kind of people that you recognize when you see this
Wait, who's that?
bullshit. In the chat, Lady of Yoruba.
Lady of Yoruba. Well,
Yeah,
why are you
please leave
concerned
a
about
gratitude.
that? As a matter of fact, I'm going live because it's one something right now. I gotta get on my live game right now.
Oh, you about to
Yeah.
go live
Hold
right
on one second.
now?
'Cause yeah, right
Yeah,
now.
Tina, and you're
Okay, yeah,
going
I'm
to
about to
bed.
end. Yes.
You're going to bed, Tina. You're not going to be on no live streams.
I mean, I'll give you a like and all that, but man, I'm tired.
But Tina, listen, sweet, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much
Yeah,
for helping me to
no
do this. Brotep, it's always
Yo,
a pleasure hearing you
pleasure was
speak.
all mine.
Denise, I really love being anywhere where you are, where you're speaking, because I love the way your mind works. I think you're an asset. You're another asset to this corner of YouTube. And I'm glad that you decided to come here and to share your knowledge with us. So
Me
thank you all
too.
for being here, for having my back. And thank you for everybody who came in the comment section. Hey, for everybody that I didn't say hi to, Campesino, hi. Glad you could join us, man.
You see, we
Everybody,
got.
listen.
Oh, hold on one
Everybody be
second.
blessed.
Yeah, I'm sorry, guys.
Everybody
I
be
quiz.
blessed.
You to know.
What happened?
Yeah, but hold on. No, I had a quiz. I wanted to ask everybody: do they know what all these have in common? Right? A
Hmm.
snake, a crocodile, a zombie, a vampire, and a celebrity. Think of the answer and then answer it on my live. All right. I'm
Hmm.
about to go off there right now. I'm glad you cleared the air, truth. You've had to
And thank
be.
you once
Oh,
again. Thank you, Brotep,
no
for
problem.
being witness. Thank you, Denise. Thank you, Tina. Everybody, listen, I want you all to have a great evening. Have a good time on Broteps. And have a good week, man. Thank you all for stopping by.
No
All
yes.
right.
problem.
Everyone in the
Good night.
chat, everyone have a good night, and we'll catch y'all later. Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.